everyone. Welcome to Intrinsic Archives. My name is Verlaine, but you can call me V. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. In this channel, we do beauty discussions and lots of commentary. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and like and comment down below. If you're feeling the vibe, go ahead and subscribe. Show your girl some love and hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to follow me on my social media, Coffee Bean V. So today we are going to be talking about pretty privilege. I've been seeing a lot of videos on social media and on YouTube talking about pretty privilege, the good, the bad, and the unknown. And I kind of want to put in my 2 cents in there. So if you don't know what pretty privilege is, it is someone who can get a certain amount of clout or opportunities or become successful in life due to how attractive they are. So it isn't necessarily personality or what they bring to the table due to the fact that they are beautiful or they have the standard or they meet the standards of what society has presented as beautiful. They receive a lot more opportunities, praise, and glory. That is pretty privilege. Now, my thoughts on pretty privilege, especially when it comes to dark-skinned women talking about it. Nothing pisses me off more than a girl who is beyond beautiful talking about, well, I'm not blonde hair, blue eyes, therefore I am not the standard of beauty. Like, sis, what we're not gonna do is act like each community does not have what they like. For example, in the Asian community, Asian men, for example, they like women who are more petite. They like women who have, lighter or paler skin. Of course, that could play into colorism in so many ways, but that's a different video. They prefer women who are a little bit more petite, who are a little bit more skinnier, while in the African American or the Black community, we prefer women who is essentially thick, who has a big behind, who has a tiny waist, who has big breasts. And people who disagree with that, I have to beg to differ, because the BBL epidemic that's happening right now is due to that standard. Celebrities I've been seeing: Doja Cat, Amara La Negra. Both of these women came into the industry very thick, and they got the praise, they got the attention, willingly or unwillingly, they got it. They were looked to as extremely beautiful women, which they are. No one is trying to deny that. But the second they lose a little bit of weight, Amara lost weight due to her health issues. Doja lost weight, I'm not necessarily sure why, but she might have just lost weight because she's doing a lot of performances and it's a lot of choreographed dances, and she's just losing a little bit of juice. And then all of a sudden, you can't even go in their comment section without somebody being like, oh, I miss when she was thick, or she doesn't look as cute anymore because she doesn't have. It's like, why is it that we must constantly talk about these women's bodies, and yet they are now a little bit slimmer, and they are no longer the standard body wise when it comes to our community? So in each community, there is something that community likes. So in one community, blonde hair, blue eyes is not the standard. It is not what we're looking for. But I will not detest that Eurocentric features is kind of the epitome, is kind of the higher pedestal than all these other features. When it comes to pretty privilege, it's extremely profitable. There's a lot of individuals on social media who use their pretty privilege to make a profit, and there's really nothing wrong with that. They're beautiful, they can make a lot of money due to their pictures, and they make a living out of that. And that is kind of proof of pretty privilege. There are individuals who are just naturally beautiful or make themselves beautiful that they can make some type of profit. They can get things for free. They can achieve a certain level that us individuals, I'm not gonna put myself down, but people who are a little bit more average would have to work a little harder to achieve than other girls. Now, in my personal experience, I have experienced pretty privilege, and I have also experienced the other side of the coin. Now, I am not ugly, first and foremost. I don't feel like God made any ugly person on this earth, but I damn sure not ugly. I'm a good 6, 7, maybe an 8 if I'm feeling real frisky. And that's just honesty. I am not ugly, but I'm not a 10. Like, I feel like I'm cute, but an average cute. And there's nothing wrong with that. But one of the biggest things I had to overcome is my self-esteem, and when it comes to pretty privilege. I have a friend group who I believe is absolutely stunning. They are 10s. And though I do not want to use men as a scale of what is beautiful and what is not, and deem my worth of men's attention, that's kind of the experiences I've had. So when it came to me going out with my friends, it was kind of that thing where I felt like the ugly duckling of the group. Even though I believe I am beautiful in my own right, I bring a lot to the table, I couldn't help but still feel like the ugly duckling. No matter what establishment we were going, whether it was a library, whether it was a gas station, whether it was a mall, whether it was a school campus, I constantly felt like my friends were being hit on, getting a whole bunch of attention, while I was scooted to the back, just sitting there watching them. I've had men go as far as try to give me attention or try to go on dates with me just to get to my friends. And that, I won't lie, that played into my self-esteem quite a bit. But I had to build and overcome that and understand that I am beautiful in my own right, and I don't need the attention of men or the attention of other individuals to feel like that I am pretty. Now, when it comes to TikTok or Instagram or other social media outlets, pretty privilege is apparent due to the fact that there are a lot of individuals who will get thousands of following doing absolutely nothing, quite frankly. Maybe doing a couple dance moves that are half-baked, or just staring at the phone screen, maybe mouthing a couple lyrics, and all of a sudden they're getting millions and millions of likes and follows. So I will not detest, again, that pretty privilege does not exist, because it does. There are lots of individuals who gain from that. Another example, there was the mug shots. Every year, I swear, there's a mugshot of someone who is absolutely stunning who goes to jail, and the second they get released, all of a sudden they're models. And here are a couple of examples. That is pretty privilege. But we need to be careful when it comes to pretty privilege and when it comes to envy, because individuals who are, I guess, on the opposite side of the coin, or individuals who feel like they do not benefit from pretty privilege, there is almost a sense of envy in that conversation. But that envy is kind of understandable, but we have to make sure that envy doesn't realize a level of hate, doesn't become malicious in any way. Because honestly speaking, as a fellow average woman who's, doing a little something, but not all that, I'm kind of tired of everyone trying to say we're all beautiful and we all reach. No, everyone has their own beauty. Let's stop lying and saying that everyone is conventionally attractive, because that isn't necessarily true. Let's just be honest, that isn't necessarily true. But I feel like, again, everyone has their own level of beauty, and we got to play into that. There are certain individuals, there are certain models who I personally feel like, no judging, no hating, no real talk, that they aren't necessarily the standard of beauty. And yet they're able to dominate this industry due to their confidence, due to whatever they bring to the table. And that is something that we got to take into consideration. Now, let's talk about the flip side of pretty privilege and the downsides towards it. Now, I had to do my own individual research. I had to do a couple polls on Instagram. I had to really think about what could be the downsides of being the conventional beauty, being the beauty standard all the time. And I was able to think of a couple things, quite frankly. When you are at that type of level, people feel entitled to your face. People feel like you gotta give them the time of day because you're attractive. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like when you're that beautiful, or when you are on social media or whatever the case is, people feel like they're entitled to just call you whatever they want to call you, or feel entitled to your time, to your space, and to your energy because you are beautiful or because you reach that standard. And honestly, that can be extremely dangerous if you really think about it, because that can lead to obsession. People always want to honestly, stalkers. When it comes to that example I gave in the beginning of this video, when I said that I constantly felt like my friends were being hit on, I constantly felt like I was put on the back burner because no one was giving me that type of attention and day. And then when I had that conversation with my friend, they said they hated it. They said that, yeah, it was nice in the moment, but there has been times where it had gotten dangerous. There had been times where they had stalkers, or they had individuals who would not let them go. And that could be the flip side of pretty privilege. They've had individuals or other women literally hate on them purely because they were prettier, especially in school. And the crazy thing about it, though we're not in high school anymore, we're all adults well into our 20s and 30s. That type of high school mentality of I can't stand her because she looks the way she looks and she thinks she's something because that still plays on well into adulthood. Look at social media. My thing is, we shouldn't put down the individuals who we consider beautiful just to elevate this conversation of pretty privilege. Because at the end of the day, though we think they're a 10 and though society has deemed them as a 10, they could be going through it at home. They could be dealing with body dysmorphia. They could have low self-esteem. There's a lot of individuals who talk about that here on YouTube where they feel like, yes, they had pretty privilege, but they were going through it behind closed doors. And they talk about it not for attention, but have that relatability like, yes, I know that I have this privilege, but God, I'm going through it too. And I don't want to put down someone else just to elevate my point on pretty privilege. Hopefully that makes sense. All in all, I feel like this conversation is something that is extremely deep and it's extremely difficult to decipher, especially when you are on the opposite side of the spectrums. But I would love to hear everyone's point of view down below in the comment section. Do you believe pretty privilege exists? Do you feel like you have some pretty privilege? What have your experiences been? And what is your take on my video? I try to be as honest and level-headed as possible without being too biased, but I would love to hear everyone's opinions down below. I will see you guys in my next video.